Okay, we're at GoToMath.com looking at some Julia programming. This will be tutorial 2, and I believe this time we'll make this part 1. I think there's going to be like 4 parts to this thing. We're going to be doing a simulation of rolling a die. We're going to simulate that, and we're going to average up, take the average of something. What was it again? Oh yeah. Anyway, so let's just go back to our picture here. As you can see here, so we have the tally marks, and what we're going to do is we're going to create an array. So that's where we're going to store our tally marks, is in an array. And what we're going to do this is one little procedure at a time. Instead of writing the entire program out and going from there, we're going to do pieces of it at a time on the line here in the shell, Julia shell. So remember, we're going to be summing up the tallies. So let's just initialize that variable sum of t is equal to 0. Now let's create this place where we're going to keep all the tallies, and we'll call the array ints of t. So as you can see here, we have 6 positions, and we're going to initialize each position with 0. Okay, we'll go ahead and do that. All right, it's a 5 or a 6 element array. It looks like 5, but it's 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay, so here's our dice that's going to generate the random number, and we're just going to call this r, and is equal to rand, the rand method. And so it's going to pick a number between 1 and 6 inclusively, and this is going to simulate the roll of the die. All right, which you can barely see there, but it looks like that was a 4. It looks like I need to scoot the screen over just a little bit. Okay, so we've simulated the die. Now what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to sum up now, remember, each one of those tallies. Okay, so this is how we're going to do it. All right, so when the 4 comes up, it's going to go to the 4th position and it's in that array, which was initially 0, and then it's going to add 1 to it. Okay, so that was the number 4 that came up on the die. And I want you to come look over here. So, all right, which we can't, there we go, and we can see it. Oh, it was a 1. It looked like a 4. Okay, so anyway, remember, well, that's right, that was a 4. Okay, just trying to remember that. I had scooted down, I even forgot. All right, so in the 4th position, 1, 2, 3, and 4, we've tallied a 1 there. Okay, we've tallied a 1. All right, you'll catch on here in just a second. You hadn't figured it out. Okay, so what we'll need to do now is we need to generate another random number. And the best way to do this, instead of typing all that stuff in, just hit the upward arrow key, and it's stored there in the shell. All right, so this time we've rolled a 1. We want to tally that. All right, let's look at the array. So in the first position, there's only 1 tally there. All right, so we want to roll a die again. Roll the die. This time we get a 3. So we want to make sure that we mark that in the 3rd position of the array. So as you can count down, 1, 2, 3 right there. Right, so that's the number of times 3 has come up, only 1 time. So we do it again. Right, make sure we add the tally in there. Okay, so as you can see here, 1 now has come up twice. Okay, so let's roll the die again. So we continue to do this until every number has come up at least once, and then that's when we stop. So that was the whole key to the whole thing, is how many times do I roll the die, right, and then stop after the last one has come up. In other words, the game is we want to stop after the last one. So as you can see here, I continue to roll through this thing. So real quick here, what happened this summer was I was sitting at the roulette wheel and I was keeping track of every single one of the numbers that came up. And it seemed like that it was like 35. I went through all these numbers, had tallied out all these numbers, and 35 had never come up after like 2 hours. I'm like, man, I'm telling everybody at the table they need to start betting on 35 because there's got to be a good chance that 35 is going to come up. And so eventually 35 came up, and so that's when the question, okay, I think we got a 5 here. I believe, no, we're still going. I can't, no, we're tallying in there. Okay, I believe we got them. No. Well, anyway, so I had to ask, there we go. So I had to ask the question, what is the average number of spins on the roulette wheel until at least every number comes up at least once? And that's where we're going with all this actually. Okay, so as I'm going through this here real quick, as you can see now we stopped the game, and what we're going to do now is sum up. As you can see, remember we went ahead and initialized that variable in the very beginning to 0. And so now what we want to do is sum up all our tallies, and the best way to do that is to create a for loop. And we'll just loop through each one of the positions in the array and just sum them up. It's the best way to do it, right? So in the next video, what we're going to be doing here, well, we need to go back and put a plus sign there. Okay. Int of x in the program. We've got to end that for loop. Okay, so what this is going to do, we're going to go through first position, so that'd be int of t of 1. It'll add it to 0, of course, initially. And so we'll have 3 plus, and then 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 plus 2, and so forth and so on. Okay, that's a way to loop through that and sum up all that. So let's see what the sum of t is here. It's 10. 10. So let's go up there and check that out. So it took 10 rolls for every number to come up at least once. And okay, that sums to 10. Okay. So I thought it was an interesting question. And of course, writing a program to simulate this is definitely the best way. Now, obviously, there is, well, I guess it's not obvious.